Happy good evening to all of you, wherever you are watching us. We're back again, and this is the Bottom Line Liberia. Here we discuss the issues, we give our views, we analyze, and we let you decide. And so we're back again this beautiful Tuesday, the 5th day of September 2023. And we have very, very limited time to the elections. I mean, talking about timeline, we have roughly 1.5 months to go. Today being the 5th, so it's like 1 month and 15 days. Okay, let's say October.
On 30 days, almost 30 days.
Around 30. Okay, wait. Let's do it correctly. From
This is the one. This is the 5th.
Yeah, from the 10th of September to October 10 and 1 month.
Yeah. So we got like
yeah. So
you got how many days? You got 3 more days.
Yeah, 1 month, 15.
5 more days.
Yeah. So the elections are closer, and guess what? Couple of years back when we were talking about 2023, it was like, I mean, a hell of a long time, man. Oh yeah, people were preparing, but all of a sudden, 2023 is on our heels, and if actually we were in a race, we see that 2023 is right behind us and catching up with us. But gentlemen, we let us say welcome of Jamal. It's been a while now, and we are missing Paul. Paul is on the grounds in Liberia. And we hope Mafa will join us later on during the course of the program. But today we're going to have a guest, and this guest should have been with us last week, but he had a tight journey, and so today he's going to be with us. He may be a little bit late though because he's catching up with time. But it's been a few weeks now, Jamal. How is the UK?
Yeah, basically UK is great. Like a football season I've started already, and if you find the Champions League, I mean the Premier League, and you know that there are a lot of games going on. Some prices pulling out. I think Arsenal against United. So I don't want to talk about that. I know you're a big fan of Arsenal. So basically, to put it straight, Arsenal. I mean, we're doing great here in Manchester. It's not been that very, very wet. Sometimes Manchester not being wet, but we're doing great here so far. So good. Just basically, our attention is being taken. Most Liberians that are concerned about our country, they think about what is going on actually at the point in Liberia right now. Focus is on Liberia for the fact that, like you said, at 30 days and 5 more days, 35 more days left, that's to be exact, for the election in the country. So we, finger crossed, we think we have a peaceful election, in a fair and peaceful election. And this is our attention for Liberians are all concerned abroad, and we hope that we have things happen and we put a good government in power for starting 2024.
And speaking about the elections, I see that there is a lot of campaigning going on, and the CPP, Mr. Cummings, he has introduced a new style of campaigning, that's something that is not very simple or very common in Liberia, and people are kind of like getting to get used to that. In Liberia, people have this traditional style of campaigning where you go to one gathering and you call your supporters, and people come, and people who want to listen to you will come in that one big gathering. But this time, Mr. Cummings says no. He's like the Jehovah Witness type of campaigning, going from community to community, meeting people. Today I saw him. He was in the what you call that? The Omega. Listen. I don't know when last we were in Liberia. When I was in Liberia, the Omega Tower was still up, right? But when I went back in 2014, it was down and the place was clear. I saw some houses, but now it's a market ground. So I just can't imagine how the Omega, because they wouldn't picture in my head.
Honestly, I can tell you what happened. Actually, what's happening, right? I was in Liberia at the time when the Ellen government, not Ellen leadership, decided to have the area cleared because Omega's tower was of no use anymore, and the area was a vast land. So they want to make use because where the red light market was, it was almost like pushing on the main road. So it kind of helps a safety issue. So the government decided to move the market to that area. So now you kind of move into the road, because if you go into that red light area, you always going to car. It takes you like 30 minutes if you come in. You want to go to Ganta or you want to go to Kakata from Kata area. That place you can't just go through when you're going through red light. So the government thought of moving the marketers to the Omega area to clear that place, and they thought of at the time bringing the stock down. I think it was brought down around 2013 or 2022 or 2013. The tower was brought down, the Omega Tower, and that was the area declared to be, indicated to be the market ground, so people can leave the red light area, so they can have for vehicles to have a way out, because it was really health it was a health and safety issue. So they moved the market from that red light area to the where Omega Tower was built. But it was a good idea anyway. It also helped because you could have issues every time you're coming through to go. If you're driving through that line, it could take you. If it's not 30 minutes, almost an hour to go through the marketers when they all. What we do, how we do marketing in Liberia. We come on, we leave the market store, we leave the market hall, we come on the road and we sell, because we want to get the attention of the buyers. So we always come and sell everything on the road. It's happening everywhere. We sell it on the road, you sell it in the market. In the market buildings, we got very beautiful market facilities. You will see that infrastructures are good, but nobody sell in there. Everybody's outside selling. It's kind of happening in Liberia. So the government started moving it to that area. That was the reason. I was there, I think, when the stock was down, they brought down and they rebuilt. They built the Omega area to make as a market area for red light district.
Okay, because when I went to Liberia 2014, that was like after 14 years, and I was like, where is it? We were on our way to Bangai, but though it was in the evening, then I started to look, where is the Omega Tower? Because I know when you pass Coca-Cola factory, you go in there, right? And then people say, oh no, that's not here again. The floor was clear. So I was like, what? So, but Mr. Cumming was at the Omega market built today, as people say in Liberia, and with this new style of campaigning where he's moving to the photos and walking, and a lot of people were chanting, and I think that's a new thing. I don't know how do you see that? It's like, are we going away from the old traditional way of campaigning where probably the parties will go to their headquarters or go to some football field or something?
When Mr. Cummings said it from 2016, 2017 up to today, he said, I can't be doing the same thing and it can't be a result. I got to change it. It's a change he's bringing. He's doing these door-to-door campaigns, and not only that, all other members of the CPP are doing the same. Our guy, the regional coordinator for Europe, ANC Europe, who is Mr. Paul Chuluble, who is also in Liberia at the moment, doing similar thing. Probably at the end of the show, we want some of the videos he's been doing. He has been engaging with some 30 people, 30 individuals. They've been engaging the community. Telling them what CPP will bring, what Mr. Cummings and Councillor Bromskin will bring to Liberia. All these things. So it's a style that he brought in. I think it's much more of face-to-face. He also acquaint yourself with the living condition of the people you're going to represent, or you're going to be the president. You can't sit in a very cozy, conducive environment. House or the Palmer, you say you're giving these, making these rhetorics that you're going to build streets, you're going to lay bridges, overhead bridges. You're going to bring 600 teachers. You're going to bring this. You're going to bring that. Where you don't see where to live. So Mr. Kumi, in one of his interviews, he said he felt he touched the people. He know where they live. He felt the conditions. Of course, he may be well off. He had a very good resources that he can live, and he's blessed. But that doesn't mean that he can't reach. He touching the Liberians. He know what they're on their minds, and that helps you to understand the bread and butter issue they live for. Because once you go to the community, you meet them, you sit with them, you see where they live, you feel for them. When you're in there, when you're at the top, then you see, well, I'm making decisions that also make impacts. It's not like like you said, the common thing we do, we go to stadium, football fields, we go to halls, we make big speeches, empty one, and give, impressing people. But this guy want to work with his wife in every community. You see how filthy the areas look like right now. He goes through there, though those market bridges. You know what we're calling like market bridges. You walk out, going to the place, and then he's taking down from all the 17 districts in Monrovia. I mean, Monserrate. We're going to visit them. And not only that, he'll be going down the county lines, the rural area. He will touch where we had to put rich counties. He wanted to know where they live. He's been doing it for the past 5 years, almost 5 years. How many more? 5 years, 11 months he's been doing it. But this time, we want to get close to the people, and they got to feel him and touch him and know who he is. I mean, you're saying you met him, he's a common man. No, he doesn't feel, he's not the man that will say, well, I don't want to talk to anybody. When you have the opportunity to speak to him, you ask him to tell you what he's able to do for you. He's not a man who will promise you and let you go away. So basically, what he's doing right now is a very good approach. It's a Jehovah's Witness approach. I think it brings you close to the community, it brings you close to the people, and also you make you to understand what the people are going through right now.
Well. But let's look at other by way of information program note. Our guests will be coming in some minutes from now. We're going to be talking about the Association of Liberian Journalists in America. We are journalists too, so we like to blow the horn of our friends because they say the hunchback people. When you have 2, 3, 4 hunchback people in the town and one of them die, they'll be standing and watching how they'll bury this man, whether they'll break a bone to make him straight or so. They'll be watching keenly. So while the journalists in America that came from Liberia during the war, or probably for some reason went to America, formed themselves into organization, and they are called ALJA, which means ALJA, Association of Liberian Journalists in America, ALJA. They'll be having their convention from the 14th of this month to the 16th. So we're going to have the current, and during that convention that I am sure that we're going to be electing their new corp of officers. So we're going to have the current president here. He's going to be telling us all about his administration, and then whether he succeeded, whether he failed, and what he hopes to let or to see from the new administration that will be coming in. So all of these will be discussed, and he's also a journalist, so we may just go into some Liberian politics a little bit. We all Liberians, so we'll be touching every bit here. So be patient, help us to share the show, and invite your contacts. Jamal, let's look at a few of the things that have been happening in Liberia. You come from Nima County, and last week we actually did touch that issue right here on this show. I don't know if you've heard your senior senator for many years now, for 2 terms now, Prince Johnson, who is now supporting the Unity Party, and he even selected, according to his own mouth, suggested and selected a vice presidential running mate to VP Boakai in person of Jeremiah Kuhn. Now he is saying that he's appealing to you in emergence that you should back him, that he selected a man who will be up there for Nima County, and he wants all Nigerians to support, so that you can produce a first vice president. But I think Nima has had presidents, in fact, vice president and president. Nima had Eno Dokolie as vice president under Taylor, and also Moses Black as vice president, and he even became the shortest lived president of Liberia at some point. But this statement by Prince Johnson, I don't know if you heard it before, but he said the old man is old, and if the old man is elected along with Jeremiah Kuhn, it is Jeremiah Kuhn that will be doing the work for the old man. I don't know, was that an attempt to relegate the old man, the position of the old man as president, or is it an attempt to undermine him, or is it like it's difficult to interpret what Prince Johnson said? How will you interpret that?
Yeah, Linford, the statement from Senator Johnson is not a surprise to me. And I listened to the leaked video, and this is not something leaked. I mean, the senator knows very well, like, if somebody listens to the video, he doesn't care. He knows why he works his way around to make Jeremiah Kuhn the vice president. And it's just unfortunate that Uncle Joe Barker did not understand what the people were saying. We threw other people under the bus, people like Yombli Kanga, Senator Yombli Kanga, Costa, and the rest of the people that worked hard with him for a couple of years. And he began to understand that this is now, he said he wanted to dance with the devil. They told him Prince Johnson was the devil, and we all know that. But Prince Johnson is not shouldn't be surprised to Liberia. He's very unpredictable, from the time from the war up to the present. He's been my senior senator, doesn't mean that I stand by him. I mean, you will know that how he is in terms of attitude. So, why I don't, apart from Prince Johnson, why I don't support in Liberia, is this kind of troublist is too invasive. This troublist way of preaching politics. Like, what can you tell us what Jeremiah Kun would do when he becomes vice president? Instead of telling us the old man is old, he's not healthy, living on a battery, you can't succeed anymore. Jeremiah Kun would literally be doing the job. This kind of way of preaching, presenting politics in Liberia is very bad. He's taking the trouble line and he's speaking, if I heard him speaking gear and all stuff like that, and getting the message across to the people. You could see that he's feeling. If you have the godfather of politics in Nimba County, just one statement that the rest will be history. But now you could see he's struggling to get his words across to win people over for Jeremiah Kun. So I don't support the way that we preach politics in Liberia. We don't dwell in personalities. We should be doing that. We should look at what that person will deliver. And this is what Kumi has been doing. Mr. Kumi has been doing all along. He never spoke against anyone. He tells us what I'm capable of doing, what I've been delivered. Look at my past records. Never going to be a tough case because a couple of people from Nimba County that are on that ticket. You look like, Jeremiah Wopie, right?
Jeremiah. Yeah, I know Jeremiah.
Wopie, I forgot his name. He's one of the You got Councillor Gonglo on the ticket. You got Jeremiah Kun on the ticket. And they've split. Nimba used to be a rich county vote, but now they're going to be a split vote in Nimba County right now because these are sons of Nimba County. Apart from that, other people running. There are many parties. This election is going to be well close to call elections in Liberia. Very well contested election, I can tell you. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy walk into the park for Prince Johnson and their supporters. So I'm totally against this attitude of going against people, characters. If you want to forget about Omar health, we all understand Omar is not well. I'm not a big fan of Mr. Barker, but I don't agree that the Omar with all that threw everybody under the bus and took you. He went out there and said, so it shouldn't be surprised. They told Mr. Barker that this old man, this guy is a devil. He's not. Prince Johnson doesn't care. He's taking anywhere. Jeremiah Kun is divine. They're not going to reverse that issue anymore. They're not going to reverse that issue anymore. So they not whatever he said is done already. So you're going to say, don't mind. They're trying to twist my statement to make it look like I'm against you. But I'm for you. We all know that the old man is not going to do the job. Jeremiah Kun is going to do the job. That's what we'll be preaching here every day. We tell the people here that follow us on the show. The old man is not well. That's why he experienced you but things that he had. He's not well. He's not going to do practically any job. So give us the chance to lead the country. We got a very good figure that run our country, which is Mr. Cummins, but they don't listen to us. So anyway, this is my take on this info.
Okay, and like you rightly said, the way Senator Johnson went about approaching the whole issue, probably he didn't mean what people are interpreting it to be. But again, if you just let the cat out of the bag, people will begin to, and you don't describe that cat, people will begin to take it to be a lion or a leopard or something. But like we told you, we're going to have a guest tonight, and this guest is not a strange person on this show, and this guest is also a journalist. And so it's going to be the three of us here have practiced before, or we still practicing journalism. So we're going to tackle a couple of issues, local politics, and our local politics. When I mean local, is Liberian politics and stuff like that. But basically, we'll be delving into the activities that our guest is heading. So let's see if we can bring on our guest, or he's sneak back, or probably he's hearing us. Let me say good evening or good afternoon to you, Joe. I guess it's past 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's in Central U.S. time, so it's actually past 2 o'clock on my end. But good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Kamara. It's good to see you both, and I'm pleased to be on this afternoon.
Okay. Last week you should have been here, but we understood that there was some tight schedule. But good that you
Yeah.
are here. Better late than never. In fact, this timing is perfect. Today is the 5th of September, and we understand that ALJA, you are the president, the current president of ALJA. ALJA is going to be having a convention on the 14th of September, and it will run through the 16th. I think that weekend. So I think this is the perfect timing. With just 9 days to go. So let's kick the ball rolling. You already know Jima, and you've been here before. So Jima, this is Joe Mason, and Joe is the president, the current president of the ALJA. And for those of you viewing us, ALJA, like I said before, is the Association of Liberian Journalists in America, ALJA. Now, Joe, tell us the current status of ALJA. Is ALJA still alive?
Not only is ALJA still alive, but ALJA is vibrant, ALJA is kicking, and ALJA could not be in a more better place than it is right now. We are really proud of the work we've done as president over the last 4 years. And obviously, I don't know if you know this, for this is my last tenure. As a matter of fact, I have, you counted 9 days, so I have 9 more days to serve in this role, and I'm really looking forward to my successor taking over the reins, because I believe we are leaving ALJA in a good place, and I'm hopeful that this new administration will continue to improve upon the work that we started 4 years ago, and the work my predecessor started before me. So ALJA is alive and kicking, and it's in an awesome place.
Jima, you want to
Joe,
chime in?
welcome. Joe,
Thank you, Jamal. Thank you. Thank
welcome,
you.
boss. How are you, sir? Good that
I'm doing
you're
great.
Liberian journalist in America. Good thing. I mean, it's not an easy job to run an association outside Liberia.
Yeah.
The quick, just for the benefit of the viewers or those who listen to us, you mind telling us like a little bit of what is the role, the objective, and the mission of the association, at least for the benefit of those who don't know what ALJA stands for.
Correct. So ALJA is an advocacy organization that was started in 1998 when a number of Liberian journalists left Liberia as a consequence of the civil crisis. So they arrived in the States, and they decided that, look, we have a strong voice, we have a powerful voice, and our voice should be heard even while we are outside of the United States. So they came together, of Liberia. So they came together and organized ALJA in 2001. And I couldn't be more grateful for their foresight, because if you look at what ALJA has been able to achieve now, you can thank them because they thought that this organization will serve a very useful purpose in our society, and they've done that. Unfortunately, in 2001, because of some internal strife, ALJA collapsed, and it was not until 10 years later that the organization was resuscitated, and it continue now to be an active, vibrant, and impactful organization when it comes to the media landscape in Liberia.
Right. Okay. I know. Just a little think about. I know you the next 9 days will be, if I think you officially will be leaving the seat. Just a little bit of a question of something may have inspired you to become the president of this association. What were the key responsibilities in your role?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that ALJA began in 1998. At the time, I was still in Liberia, and even while there, I would listen to position statements that ALJA will make, and I felt that the organization was serving a very useful purpose, because, as an organization, we need, as a media advocacy organization, we need to ensure that we are holding the power to account, the power to be to account. They will speak out on issues relevant to the continuity of our democracy, whether it was freedom of the press, whether it's freedom of speech, whether it was good governance, whether the rule of law. Those things were important then, and they're even more important now. So when I came over to the U.S., as a matter of fact, the first ever convention I attended was an ALJA convention. because I believe in the core value for which ALJA was established, not only for its advocacy role, but also because it is also into manpower development, improving the capacity of our colleagues in Liberia. We understand significant challenges still exist in Liberia when it comes to the capacity of our media colleagues, even though they continue to do excellent work, but we believe the capacity can still be improved. And so that is one thing that ALJA is committed to doing. And over the last several years, during my administration, as well as during the administration of my predecessor, we moved into capacity building, manpower development, in addition to continuing in advocacy that ALJA is known for.
Okay.
Okay. One question someone would like to ask is, ALJA being a group of journalists coming together, to make their voice heard. I mean, when I mean voice, is one collective voice, not voices, one collective voice, being heard on the political scene in Liberia. What has been some of the your recent activities, especially when it comes to some of the what our citizens cry out to be, mismanagement of the economy, bad governance, and the rest of the things happening in Liberia now under the present administration? Has ALJA been very effective in propounding some views?
Yeah, man, we consistently spoken out against some of the issues I mentioned earlier, whether it was corruption that continued to plague our country, whether it was just impunity when it comes to the adjudication of justice and the rule of law, when it comes to issues such as good governance and ensuring that we're holding folks who are in power to account for the offices to hold. So across all these different spectrums, ALJA has spoken out. I mean, if you go in there and just type ALJA, you will see our different positions coming up on different issues. And I also need to add, though, as much as we're critical of the government, ALJA is nonpartisan. We also have spoken out against folks in the opposition who believe and feel when they do wrong and they act in ways that we believe is not in consonance with our constitutional norms and values. So we continue to speak out against all sectors of society when we believe it's necessary to do so. So it's not just speaking out against ills in our society, but also calling out the opposition when we feel that they need to be called out.
Well, another thing, probably the viewers want to know about ALJA is it funded by any organization, or how do you get your fundings to run? Because from 1998 until now, for
good
such an
question.
organization to survive.
Yeah, good question. So ALJA over the years have been funded primarily by its membership. We've tried to solicit assistance from other organizations and groups. We've partnered with different organizations who believe in our core beliefs and principles, and they do assist ALJA from time to time, but the bulk of ALJA funding comes from its membership. What we try to do is when we meet at our conventions, like we'll be meeting in Minnesota on the weekend of September 16th, we do have what we call the Media Fund Drive. That Media Fund Drive is a pool where we put all the funding that we do raise for media development purposes. That money go into that pool, and it is from that pool that we're able to fund ALJA activities during the course of the year, whether it is to support the scholarship for students in Department of Communication and Media Studies at the University of Liberia, whether it is to provide logistics to media institutions, including computers and micro recorders, those kind of things that we've done consistently over the years, whether it is to provide training and capacity building for our colleagues in Liberia. So that Media Fund Drive is able to fund these different activities. And so next weekend when we do meet in Minnesota, it will be one of the major way we raise funds. So on the evening of September 16, we have what we call the fundraising dinner, and it will also be our awards night. I don't know if you know this too, but we also are recognizing journalists for excellence at that event. So when we do meet, we do raise funding from our colleagues, our partners who will be inviting, and then from ALJA members themselves to support ALJA's mission during the course of the year.
Okay, just before Jimar comes in, there is, I mean, you mentioned that you build capacity for journalists back home in Liberia, which is a very good job. And you also, kind of provide some scholarships for students at the UL in the mass comm department. But outside of Liberia, where we have the Press Union of Liberia, your organization is the second largest in terms of membership of media practitioners from Liberia. Now, what is your relationship with the largest group on the ground, the PUL?
Oh, we have really good relations with the PUL. We recognize that you mentioned earlier that the PUL is the mother organization when it comes to journalism in Liberia. And so we work closely with the PUL. We interact with the leadership on a consistent basis. As a matter of fact, we've had presidents of the union attend our conventions on a consistent basis. Unfortunately, because of the crisis that has engulfed the union, currently we don't have any representation coming this year. But we've always worked in close partnership with the PL and its leadership over the course of the last several years.
No, you just I want to actually tell you what Jimar, but you just direct me in. There is this crisis within the PUL itself, and they've kind of slowed down their activities. I guess it's due to that you couldn't recognize one particular person to invite. Now, what has ALJA done to kind of intervene if you ever try to?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when the crisis began, we had one of our members in Liberia who was visiting at the time, and a committee was set up to mediate the crisis, and we named her Mrs. Melissa Chair Anna, who worked for the Inquirer newspaper for many years. She was visited, and she's the senior member of ALJA. She was in Liberia at the time when the crisis started, and we offered our help in mediating the crisis, and she was appointed to a mediation committee while she was there. Unfortunately, that mediation effort failed, and since then, we've kept in contact with both parties to ensure that ALJA will always be in the position where it is able to mediate. We have said before, and we'll say again, that it is not our business to take one side or the other. Our goal is to ensure that the union remain united, and any role we can play to ensure that happens is something ALJA will continue to do. So we remain engaged with both sides. As a matter of fact, we have sent out a formal invitation to both candidates who contested the election, with the hope that they will come to this convention and we can continue the mediation efforts. To date, I don't know if they haven't confirmed their attendance yet, but they received they were offered the chance to come to the States and be a part of our convention, so we can continue dialogue and continue on talking with the hope that ultimately a solution will be found to the crisis.
Joe, thank you very much. I think you answered some of the questions I want to ask you, but I want to strictly go to what we do, because if you do follow what is happening in Liberia right now in terms of elections on hand, and the campaign kickoff, I mean, I want to ask on that, but not on the election itself, but with the regard of the press involvement into elections. And you find out, people will tell you the journalism in Liberia or journalism in Liberia has been compromised. First, you want to answer that question to me. Do you agree with compromise? If it is compromise, what could be the reason? And now you find out that most of those people that set up institutions, like media institution in Liberia, won't last more than 2 years. Failed. What could be the reason? They say sustainability has been the issue, lack of resources, training, or what is it? What ALJA has been doing to work around in this area? Because you will find that people will say that, okay, just come up, we've been talking to Liberian journalists, say, oh, at the end of the day, man, we're looking for a boss. So before we go, got to put something in your pocket, scratch your head looking for something, because they don't being paid enough for upkeep. So what they end up asking for a little, handout. So this is kind of thing. Then what happened? As a professional institution, a body in Liberia, because if you look at the medical association, you look at the journal, the PUL, and the other media institutions, we see that as kind of a watchdog, more especially the journalists and the watchdog of the community. With these issues going, it's a lot of it's an integrity issue. My question now is, what it's just like, you know, it's good. I just can't imagine how I'm going to have you to answer the question for me. How do you work around working these ethics, integrity, you know, with the journalists in life? How do you work to make sure they live to that level when you cannot provide them resources? How do it work for you as ALJA to work with an institution like you?
It's a difficult challenge. You encapsulated the problem correctly. It's a number of different reasons. Lack of resources, lack of training. We have a saturated media market right now. You have a small marketing window, and everyone is fighting, for the small data that exists. The government is the biggest advertisers, and the government is using their own leverage to influence one media the other in terms of who they're giving money to. So it is a serious issue. When we practice, I don't know if you guys remember this. When we practice, there were not these many media institutions in the country. We literally could count the number of newspapers and radio stations and television stations. You could count them on both hands. Right now, in Liberia, there's probably over 100 radio stations. 100 radio stations. You have several television stations. You got newspapers. You have quite a few now that are just propped up because of this election. And, they will be short-lived, of course. After the elections, they will no longer be around. So the problem is complex. The problem is difficult, and it will require, honestly, a collective effort from everyone, whether it's the PEL in Liberia, whether it is ALJA, whether it is the government itself, because the government has to be involved in this process also. I know there was a discussion today in our chat room about, can there be some sort of merger? Can there be some sort of media merger? Different media institutions coming together in a way that you don't have all these interest organizations. Because if journalists are not being paid sufficiently, because look, many journalists right now in Liberia are literally getting handout. They're not getting paid, and in that case, ethics and integrity can be easily compromised. I mean, somebody is worried about providing food for their family, and then you say to the person, well, you got to be ethical. You got to practice the ethics of the profession when they don't have, the basic necessities that can provide food for the family. So they're challenged in that way, So a lot has to come together for us to be able to find a solution to this problem. But I agree, it's challenging, it's difficult, and it would take, cooperation from all sides involved in this effort. The PEO, ALJA is willing to be involved in this process as well. Towards the end of training, it's important because you have all these media entities, and you have folks who are working at these entities with very little training. One of the things we said we will do, and we'll continue to do that, whether in Liberia or have journalists coming to the States, because we will have some of our colleagues coming to the States for this convention, like we've done in past convention. And when they do come, we will be able to provide training for them. As a matter of fact, we have training on the second day of the convention on Friday, which is the 15th of September. We have a partnership with the Herbert School of Journalism at the University of Minnesota, and we will be on the campus of the University of Minnesota on Friday the 15th for capacity building and training. We're thankful for this partnership because we will have some professors from the School of Journalism there that will lend their expertise to provide training, and we'll have other professional colleagues as well that will be involved. So that's some of the things we try to do, but it's a difficult, issue that the media is facing on a consistent basis. Though the media continue to do a great job, but we also have to admit that the difficulties and challenges that exist, and we see them every day. You look at the headlines today, and I mean, you see people are literally just taking press releases that political parties and candidates are sending them, and they making those press releases are banner headlines. I mean, if you look at the paper today, the CDC obviously has enormous resources. The papers are littered with advertisement and promotions of the CDC because they have the resources to be able to fund that. To the disadvantage, of other parties or other candidates who don't have that resources. So it's a difficult situation, one that there's no easy solution for.
Okay, look, I think let me come in right here. Talking about the difficulties now, one of the difficulties that I see is the proliferation of media houses, and when we practiced, we didn't have access to cell phone. We literally use tape recorders, recording machines to get to our interviews, and we were there face to face, and the people saw us. But nowadays, you'll see a guy take a cell phone and he's walking in the streets, or journalist in the crowd. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. And like this, it's difficult to control, because so that's why I would have loved to have a leadership of the PUL here to actually ask, how are they controlling? How do they manage to have control over these people? Because the layman out there who wants to listen to the news doesn't really care from whom it comes. In fact, like I used to, crack this joke that if a top minister stood in the street and said anything and said his car was coming and they said, oh, no matter minister, may that minister drunk. But Joe Mason that people were hearing on Newsbeat, every night comes and say, oh, the sky is coming down tomorrow on Broad Street. People, who said it? And that man walking to the radio station, oh, they would believe that. So we journalists, we got a very major role to play, because we can build, we can break. And so the proliferation of people, calling themselves journalists and walking the street is very dangerous, especially in terms of disseminating the news, because they will say something when nothing goes out there to retract it. It's not easy. But like on the ALJA thing, was there a time that you felt that ALJA has not done much during your administration?
Well, we can always do more, Linford. We can always do more as an organization. Obviously, the lack of funding is a significant hindrance in what we want to do, and I wish we had significant resources to be able to do even more than what we're doing currently. So, we try. We like I said, work with partners, and we source other ways of getting funding. And I'm hopeful that our successor will continue to do something similar. But funding is always one of the reasons why you're not able to do, because the need in Liberia is huge. Imagine, I just mentioned you, and you mentioned too correctly, the proliferation of media houses in Liberia right now. When we made our donation last year, was several $1,000s in logistics. We could only do that for about 30, 35 media houses. Then the year before, we could only do that for about, I guess, 15 media houses. So the funding, had the funding been there, we could probably do more. But funding is always an issue, and I'm hopeful that this year, when we do meet in Minnesota, we can opt, our funding, and as a consequence, be able to do more for our colleagues in Liberia, because the need is huge. I mean, we go through one donation, and I will get calls and messages from other media entities like, why you guys not giving us something? Why you guys being selective? Why you guys give? And we can only do so much. I mean, not even talking about the institutions in Monrovia. As a matter of fact, last year we decided that we'll concentrate on institutions outside the capital, because all too often the focus is on Monrovia. But there's also a need that exists outside Monrovia. So we were able to reach out to many of the rural stations, whether it was radio bungies in Bon County, or radio stations in Riverside or Nima or other places. We wanted to be able to broaden, the our reach in terms of who we are helping as an institution, as opposed to just focusing on Monrovia. So the need is great. The resources are limited, but as we have resources, we'll continue to reach out.
Right. Joe, quickly, I still want to take you back to the issue of integrity, ethics, and responsible reporting. I know you will read the headlines of a newspaper. You see, the banners. This is not responsible. Even writing. We hear from some radio stations or TV stations. Supposed, like my colleague just said, there are a lot of stations out there. You can't control that nowadays with the advent of technology. Anybody can grab a telephone, go on the street, say it's a journalist, and then go ahead. It's happening everywhere and around the world. But now with you, something that those are registered with PUL, considered to be members of PUL. Just tell me a little bit, how do you work around? Probably you see some headlines that come up, or captions of headlines that keep very alarming. They were not well researched. This is not right. And it has to do with the integrity of the profession. if you work around something like that to work with PL to make sure they restore some kind of integrity for responsible reporting as journalists, so people can have some kind of respect for journalists in Liberia. Because now, if you look at elections coming around, nobody listening to them. Anybody want to get small money in their pocket, we'll call them up, come and have a press conference. You've seen it a lot of time having a press conference, and they have telephone to them up for press conference, right? It's just all over the place. Is PL, is it what PL, are you working PL to make sure these things, some kind of control? I know you can't control everything. Some kind of response, how do you say, integrity is restored towards journalists in Liberia, because they're a professional body. You need to have some level of respect. Are you working on this? Are you been doing something with this before?
Yeah, so I believe the PL has a committee that's responsible for ethics and integrity. I believe so, and I stand corrected. And our expectation is that the PL, as a mother organization that oversees journalism in Liberia, will be able to take some actions when there's clear violation. Media houses themselves, has a responsibility. They are the ones hiring these journalists. They are the ones to whom these journalists are responsible. So they themselves have responsibility to ensure that they are hiring people who, who are being respectful of the cardinal principle that govern the profession. Ethics and integrity being among those. So to the extent that we can help the PL, we stand willing whatever way we as an organization can partner with the PL. If there's joint committees that we can work on, ALJA is willing more than ever. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing my ALJA T-shirt right now, and on my ALJA T-shirt, one of the things to try to emphasize is, if you look at it, we have a catchphrase that says, "Ethics and integrity matter." Ethics and integrity matter. So that's what we're trying to send out there. That it is important for journalists to be respected, for journalists to continue to enjoy the confidence of the larger population. At all times, we must be governed by ethics and integrity. Unfortunately, again, like you said, it's not always the case, but we hope that we can continue to preach this message as we go forward.
I see Jima. Jima. But let's look at the I don't know, should I call it successes and progresses of ALJA? Because in a situation where ALJA is, I don't know if you can ever count successes, because the reason is that you always see that need. You probably you extend helping hand to some media houses, and you still see the need, and so that feeling comes to you that, no, I have not succeeded. I think I should have done more, or I should have, I know I'm placing myself in a situation, right? Like you got so many relatives and friends who are all in need, and then you help just a few, and then when you look, the rest of them still got our hands stretched out, and you cannot reach it. So, if you want to rate your administration in helping, the needy, as you look at them, what would you say? Did you succeed?
Yeah, no, I disagree. Yes, I think we succeeded. Look, because I will say this: what if ALJA did not exist? What if ALJA was not reaching out and helping to build the capacity of our colleagues? What if they were not, even if we're not meeting all the need, we've got testimonial. I mean, I talked about the students we're sponsoring at the University of Liberia. Those students ordinarily will not be making the progress they're making in their academic sojourn were it not for the scholarship we're providing. Yes, we cannot meet the need of all the students at university, but we are hopeful that at least to the extent that we are meeting some sort of need, those people who are benefiting from ALJA as scholarship will themselves be able to at some point give back to the larger society. Say if they graduate from college, one of the things we're looking at right now for ALJA scholarship recipients is there a way that when they graduate, they can be able to serve as volunteer at some institution where they're giving back because they themselves have been received. Have been receiving from ALJA this policy of paying it forward. Someone does something for you, you benefit from that, and you're able to pay it forward to other people. Talked about some of the media institutions we've been able to give assistance to. I remember doing one of our donations. Um, we arrived there a day after the media entity was broken into, and all their electronics was stolen. When we made a donation, it was the only one they had at the time to be able to use to do their work. So it was one of the things where we just stepped there in time. So yeah, the need is great, for I agree, but I think we are doing the best we can. And if we hear those testimonials, when we hear back from our colleagues that yeah, what you all have done for our entity is benefiting our work, is making a difference, then we are energized to do even more. We can use that, and we do that when we do meet on the weekend of the 16th. We got testimonials, we got videos, we got pictures of what ALJA has done to say to our friends and partners, look, this is what we're able to do with the limited resources we receive. Imagine what we can do where we can receive additional resources. So we're hopeful that when we do meet, based on what we've done in the past, people can see. I'll give you another. I'll give you another story. When we went to Massachusetts last year for our convention, a number of people made pledges to our media fund drive. Those pledges were very slow in coming. So we had gone ahead and made some donations to the media, and were able to air the presentation. One of the individual who had made pledge at the time in Massachusetts saw this video and said, "Wow, these guys are actually putting the money where the mouth is." He called right away and fulfilled his pledge. So those are things that we want people to see. That look, when you say you're giving ALJA money, rest assured that the fund we receive would help impact the media landscape in a positive way.
Linford, that takes me to a question of Joe. Can you tell me, like, how can an individual people who are passionate about Liberian journalists who want to support the association or get involved, or get involved or contribute in case somebody sitting there who got a lot of respect for journalism, you were being part of Liberian journalism before and want to help? How can they get involved? How can they contribute?
Yeah, so we one of the ways to do that is to contact us directly, like other people have done. We have a website that people can reach on. If they want to make a donation. So there's several ways people can be able to reach out to ALJA. Again, one of the ways I'm saying is when we do meet here this weekend. It's a big fundraiser we're having, so we're calling all our friends, our partners, this weekend to be able to gather and help ALJA continue to help to meet the needs of our colleagues in Liberia. Yeah, but there's several ways, and as much as people can, we'll certainly appreciate whatever help we can get.
Right. I don't think I would like to also ask you if you mind. It has to do with the. I know you're living. I mean, my colleague just asked you, just specifically, can you lay hand on a milestone of achievement? Say, this is what I've done under my leadership. I'm living the next 9 days. I can probably say this is what I've done, and I want this to be seen the next feature on the leadership of the next leadership. I mean, something to be done, the project or kind of impact you will be making. Can you lay out some of that for us to know?
Correct. So first and foremost, I think we've been able to elevate ALJA prominence such that ALJA now is a respected organization, not only here but also in Liberia. When people get in the ALJA, they know that when we speak, our voice is listened to. When people mention ALJA, whether it is here or in Liberia, they know that we are folks who are a serious organization. We have a goal that we try to achieve. We try to be as impactful as we can. Our voice will continue to be heard when it comes to our advocacy. So in that way, we're proud of what we've been able to do when it comes to just the prominence that we've brought to the organization. The other thing is we've expanded ALJA's reach. When I took over, I believe we had about 2 chapters, and the third one was just emerging. I'm leaving with 4 functioning chapters that we have right now, and I'm hopeful that my successor will continue to expand ALJA because there are so many of us here. When I say so many of us, I mean journalists who reside here in the diaspora, and the goal is to be able to bring a lot more folks on board, because the bigger we are, the more impactful we can be. The other thing we've been able to do is to continue to elevate the media fund drive that we have and continue to give back to our colleagues. It's through my administration that we began just obviously, following after my successor, that we began just increasing the support that we're giving to the media. It's gone from giving to one media entity or two media entity to now well over 30 when we last donated to the media. And I'm hopeful that when we do donate next year, that number will probably increase significantly. And then just partnering with universities and colleges that have mass communication department, because we believe that it is important for us to be able to put together uh, um, um, individuals, institutions, and organizations that can help us achieve our goal of building the capacity of our colleagues in Liberia. So I mentioned the University of Minnesota that we've partnered with over the years. I'm really proud of that partnership. Not only are they actively supporting our work and helping with capacity building, but we've also partnered with the Institute of Community Integration here in Minnesota, and to provide subsidy to ALJA on a consistent basis. It's not a lot of money, but at least it's something that they're giving to help us in our work. And for that, we are very, very, very grateful. So again, we talk about the Joseph Ted Memorial Scholarship Fund that was launched under my administration that supports students at the university. We are hopeful that we can continue to increase the number of students at the university over the next year of this administration. Well, not this administration, but I'm hopeful the subsequent administration will improve upon that. The other thing we've just recently launched was when we talk about Jamal, the difficulties the media is going through, but we can also recognize that among our colleagues, there are a lot of people who have excelled, who have done very well in the profession. And as an organization, we believe that we need to recognize those individuals. Just as we criticize the difficulties that the media is going through, we need to recognize the excellence when it exists. So we launched the ALJA Excellence Award. And for the first time in ALJA history, 5 Liberian journalists across Liberia and in the US will be recognized for their work when we do meet at our convention in Minnesota. So those are some of the things that we're really proud of that we're able to achieve. Again, like I said, I'm hopeful that the progress we've made will continue on our successor.
I'll link for one more question for our guest, Joe. Joe, I know he's a media institution, and for instance, those who are listening to us, we know how to get a hold of you and know how to follow you up. And they want to follow the ALJA activities because whatever you release or you publish will be a reliable and trusted piece of material people will follow up. I know my colleague will be speaking about ALJA involvement in election Liberia to what will be a role. But my question, if I want to follow ALJA activities, what medium or media are you using on your own that we can get? Anybody watching or listening to us now, can tell us, oh well, I want to follow reliable information, like when you're like you're BBC, other international institutions, media institutions where the trusted one we should listen to get our story from during a period of war. And people say, well, all these stories are crap. I want to listen. ALJA will be giving them more reliable information. It's something like you can tell us what I use in terms of media or medium to reach out to.
So currently, ALJA, we're not currently providing consistent, regular information like you're doing on the platform. That is not something ALJA is doing right now. We are hopeful that given the number of professionals we have in ALJA, that is something we can do. But ALJA members are spread out across different platforms. I'm sure if you were to watch other platforms, there will be many ALJA members who are contributing to this platform. But we as an organization have not created one where we are providing information on a consistent daily basis, if that's what you're referencing. I know there's been suggestions that we need to do this, given who we are as an organization, the credibility we enjoy. We need to have a platform where people can tune to and say, okay, if I'm not hearing factual information here, let me listen to the people who are the experts, who are the professionals, who can provide the information. We are not there right now, but again, hopefully that is something that the organization can explore, because I think it's something that is doing, just giving the credibility that comes with ALJA.
Yeah, because I brought this question because for the fact that we need some kind of Now you see the educational skills, stuff like that, in terms of what is happening on the ground, in terms of responsible reporting, ethics, integrity. When you speak of that, you should be able to tell people what is not right, what is wrong, what is right, what is wrong. Then they will follow. People are coming up, they have this zeal, they want to be journalists, they don't know what they are doing, they grab the phone, get on the street. And if ALJA does not have a medium that will relate to the people, this is how we should do it. I mean, you're not teaching anybody, but this is the practice of journalism. There's the ethics, and this is how we should be. But the fourth estate, and this is how do we become the respected fourth estate of the word. But if we don't have a way of getting those information out of you, who do we turn up to? That's my question. If you don't have a platform, you don't have a media, you have a newsletter, you don't have a platform. I know you have a website, but how many people will visit your website? But the major way of reaching out to people now will be through the platform. And you got respected journalists, Liberian journalists abroad. Why are you guys not coming out together to let this information out so we can able to turn up to you? I'll share to you, BBC was one of the major sources of information during the course of the war. We got trusted people like you, Joe Milsey, and many other people out there we got respect for. I mean, it's so resting. People like Patrick Manju and many other people that lost their lives. They were there, but we didn't see much of them. When growing up, we saw that we really have respect for a lot of Liberian journalists that are out there. So I think many people will be like me, including me, will be reaching like, we want something from ALJA together with PUL to able to come up with some way how others will follow some rules. They're just going, everybody's going healthy scatter, doing whatever they're doing in Liberia. So at least there'll be some kind of training section for them if they follow what you do on those platforms or through those media. That would be my suggestion to you, Joe.
No, I appreciate that, Jamal. Again, like I said, it's something that we've talked about before. It's something that we toy with as an organization, and I'm really hopeful that it's something that ALJA will do in the not too distant future. I agree that in this day and age where there's proliferation of information, meaning that you can necessarily trust citizen journalists, many who can just pick up a microphone today and say they're journalists, where we are begging. There's a need for credible, reliable platform. I think ALJA can fill that void. We are not there yet as an organization, but I believe that we will get there in the not too distant future.
Okay. Let's transition a little bit. ALJA, we'll come back to ALJA again, but let's drag ALJA into national politics. Listen, you earlier on gave a very balanced, position for the ALJA, where you said ALJA has been, critical of the government, but also not only critical of the government, they've also come down hard on opposition, on people in the opposition that are not doing the right thing. We have elections in just about 1 month. Jima, do your calculation again. Was 1 month, 5 days left?
1 more 5 days.
Counting down the days.
25 days.
Yeah. Okay.
25 days.
Yeah, 35 more days left. Now, Liberians are getting a little bit jittery because they are getting a little bit jittery because all the news are coming, people making some statements and whatever. How involved is ALJA in this entire process? Is ALJA going to be on the grounds during the elections? Are they having election monitors or some journalists that will be working with media institutions in Liberia?
Yeah. So first, we are concerned about the credibility, the transparency of the elections coming up. We're also concerned because, like you said, there's some civil rattling, around the place, and threats of violence here and there. The theme of this year's convention is how can the media ensure a transparent and violence-free presidential and general elections in Liberia. To tell you to the extent to which we're concerned about the elections being transparent, to tell you the extent to which we're concerned about the elections being non-violent. And I was pleased to hear the chairperson of the Elections Commission say the last time that unequivocally that the elections will be free and fair. She said there's no way anyone can tamper with the results. We want to hold her by those words because it's important for the sustenance of our democracy. It is important for the peace and stability we currently enjoy for the election to be free, for it to be fair, and for it to be credible. So in that way, ALJA is adding its voice to this effort. So the entire weekend, that will be our team. We'll be speaking to that particular team. The other thing you asked about monitors, yes. For the first time in our history, we'll have monitors on the ground for these elections. And we're in contact with the Elections Commission. They submitted us the information that we need to submit to them with the names of our monitors for the elections, and we'll do that. So one of the things we'll also do, or we've been attempting to do, is to hold a presidential forum during the weekend of our convention. We have engaged the candidates, the top tier candidates, to be able to be a part of this presidential forum. It's not a debate. We hope that the candidates will be able to debate the issues. At the moment, I don't believe that, and I stand to be corrected, I don't believe there will be a debate. I don't believe that these candidates will engage each other on the policy matters for the benefit of the Liberian people. I wish they could, but I don't think they will. Mr. Bwaka has said he will not engage in any debate except Mr. Weah is there. I don't believe Mr. Weah is inclined to do a debate. I don't know. I wish they could. But what we're trying to do is to hold a presidential forum where we're having these candidates engage the media one after the other on the 16th. That is not the 16th, on the 15th. No, I beg your pardon. On Saturday, September 16th, when we meet in Mioneapolis, we've reached out to these candidates. They've expressed their willingness to do so. We've got formal responses from Councilor Gonglo. We decided that we include a female candidate in the process. We reached out to Madam Sarah Beslo Dinanti. She has agreed as well to be a part of the forum. We got initial responses from the Bwaka team that they will be a part of this process. We reached out to his chief of staff. We're still waiting back for a formal response. We did the same to Mr. Cummings. We've made outreach to the president's team. So that is the extent to which ALJA is engaged in this process. We believe that if anybody has the credibility to host a forum of that nature, we believe ALJA should and ALJA can. We're hoping that the candidates that we just named will be a part of this effort, because with just 6 to 30 some more days to the election.
How are you going to do that by 1 million?
I'm sorry?
How are you going to do that? How are you going to have all these people, are you going to do it virtually? Or?
Yes. We understand that, the elections is just a little over a month away, and these individuals are actively campaigning in Liberia. We don't expect them to fly over here. If they did, that would be great. But no, we expect that it will be a virtual exercise where they will, appear virtually. I mean, there's a technology now, and you can easily get that done. Yeah.
Okay. It takes me back to my first elections that I ever took part in, and it was the time you, me, and the rest of the guys were practicing actively. But we had a very, very greater role to play as media personnel, and I remember that one of the rules given by the Elections Commission at the time was that on the day of election there will be nothing like any campaign messages coming on any media institution and so forth. But like we discussed earlier on, where every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a journalist now by virtue of the fact that he can afford some kind of gadgets. Okay, how do you think the Election Commission is going to put such a thing under control? I don't know whether it's the Election Commission that will be put or responsible for such thing, or is it the Ministry of Information or the PUL, where one guy will now go sit down somewhere using a cell phone, or probably walking the street and say, "Oh, vote for John Brown, vote for Peter Paul." Yeah. Do you see this as problem coming?
I'm sorry, Levi. I don't think I got the question. Can you restate?
Okay. Yeah. The question is, I just made reference to when you and I practiced, and I think it was my first election that I ever voted in, and one of the rules that we followed as journalists was that on the day of campaign, or the after campaigning, on the day of elections, there should be no campaign message, or anything promotion of candidates or whatever. Do not even wear a T-shirt. and that went out to all media institutions and every individual, every voter. And I think everybody about that. But now that we have these people who nobody can give account of, who are journalists, moving all around the place, how do you see that as problem that one guy will just on the day of election will take his phone and send us somewhere and doing live, or vote for John Brown, vote for Peter? How can we continue that? Is there any
before I answer that question, I would really, I think I mentioned from when I came on that I have just about 45 minutes or so.
Sure. We are almost
done. Time, so I beg your indulgence, gentlemen, to let me leave once I answer this question. Jamal, I see you looking at me like that. I hope you don't mind. Yeah, so I'm really hard pressed for time. But look, I think Jamal mentioned this earlier. You have citizen journalists. Anybody can just pick up the microphone these days and call themselves journalists. It is difficult to regulate those kinds of folks. It's not difficult, but almost impossible to, like you said, to regulate this kind of folks, because someone grab the microphone here and start proclaiming one thing or the other. How do you determine, what if they don't work for any entity, any media entity? So it's really difficult to be able to do so. But I think at the end of the day, if the candidates are themselves largely respectful of the guidelines that the commission lay down, if they are not the ones encouraging folks out there to do these things, then I think we can live with that. If someone who is, doing this thing in isolation, we can live with that. But I'm hopeful that the candidates themselves will be respectful of these guidelines, to encourage the partisan to be respectful of the guidelines, because in the absence of that, then we have, complete chaos when everyone is doing their own thing. So that's the only thing I can say about that. There's no way you can restrict that, except candidates are themselves, encouraging the folks to abide by the guidelines.
Fair enough. I think for me, I'm done, and we can. I don't know if Jima has any other thing.
I don't want to wish Joe well for the convention coming out from the 14th, 17th of September for the ALJA convention. I want to wish him well, and always here. So I'll keep the rest of the questions next time Joe appears. But for now, I will speak to him when he's ex-president of ALJA.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamal. No. Thank you, Lynn, for it. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on today and just speak about our convention and our organization. Again, back in emphasizing of how proud I am of the work we've done to bring ALJA to what it is right now. And even as I leave the scene as president, I'm hopeful that the association will continue to thrive. I think, when we do meet for our elections here this weekend, we elect a candidate who we believe can move us forward. And because we need ALJA, we need a PUL, we need these kinds of advocacy organizations to continue to hold the power that be in check, to continue to be forceful when it comes to keeping a critical eye on our own colleagues, because we got to be critical of ourselves, because we are the ones who criticize the power that be. So we ourselves got to take that introspective look and be critical when we're going wrong. So we need organization to continue to fill that role, to fill that gap, and I'm proud that I just continue to do that. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to be on, and I look forward to coming on again. Thank you.
Okay, extend our greetings to the rest of the guys that will be assembling, and congratulations for your tenure.
You owe us a trip to one of these conventions. Jamal, you too, man. I need to reach out to you guys.
We need to help Joe to organize the kind of ALJA. How do you call it?
RG, Association of Liberian Journalists in Europe.
Because we got a lot of responsibilities to do with regards to the fourth estate. So thank you very much.
I mean, there's no reason why. As a matter of fact, we got individuals who are coming from Europe and will be here for the convention. There's no reason why ALJA cannot have a branch, in Europe, where you all are doing good work and be a part of the larger body where we are contributing to Liberia. So, I will not be on the scene, but I'll continue to reach out behind the scene and hopefully we can get you guys on board. But thank you all so much again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a lovely evening, Joe. Thank you for coming.
Okay, folks, there was that. Sorry, Joe Mason. I must be also proud in some way. I'm sorry that Joe is out of here, and let me tell you this story, guys. I must be proud in some way that Joe is my direct product in the journalism team.
How did it happen? Tell us.
Yeah, okay. I think it'll be interesting for you to hear the story. The first time I met Joe was in Habel in 1991, the latest part of 91. And Joe has left Monrovia. He was displaced in a very small town outside of Habel called Dolostown, and nothing doing, man. And then we have established the FM station in Habel around 1991 April, and all we did was music, and then all of a sudden we started going to programming, and I was doing programming and stuff like that. And so one of my friends, the other guy, listen, man, what me so rest in peace. He can't say, man, I met one guy. The guy said he want to be part of also. I said, where? He said, Habel. I said, okay. And then I met Joe, and and we became friends. And Joe was very, very committed. I mean, the guy who walked from Dolotown to Habel Hill at the radio station, which was something like almost 1 hour plus one way. And every day Joe was doing that. And we brought this guy, we saw he's a smart young man, and he had not been on the radio before, but a smart young man and committed, and we were not taking pay though. We used to get money, but not like on regular salary. Whenever Taylor comes, we get money, we get rice, we get everything. And besides that, our own hustle around, So things were okay. And Joe began to progress. And later on, Joe got on the radio. Joe first started in the news department, and then he got on the radio, and we were moving. Because actually, Joe was not the only guy. We pick a few other guys, we pick a lot of guys, like Lele Moses Sonkali, Lele Segren Goma, all the boys, we pick them up, and then based on our own interest, they became some of the top journalists. And I tell you, when Habel fell and we left, the other group went to Banga, and we went to Totota. I think Joe was somewhere in the Ivory Coast, and then later on, Joe came back to Liberia, and then gradually we moved to Monrovia. Then we set up the station there again, and Joe became the top news broadcaster that we had in Monrovia at the time, anywhere between 1996, 97, all the way to 99 when I left, and when he left, I think 98 or so. Or no, somewhere I think 2000 or so. And Joe was on a famous program, the Newsbeat. Then the whole setting will be locked down when Newsbeat comes on, because we did it professionally and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's all about determination. When you are determined to do something, this is a boy who was just displaced from Monrovia, young and sitting in Habel, nothing doing, and something clicking, and he said, let me go to the radio station and people the guys. So I would spend days with Joe, in the studio. We sit there and talk, and Joe, you're humble. He will ask me things, and and today we have Joe Mason, who have become president of the Liberian, the journalists in America. So in life you can do everything. Anything is possible, and that also takes me to my own story, where I started this radio thing long time ago, and just to be heard on the radio, I had to do think tank quiz to be heard on the radio. Anybody from the 70s and 80s in Liberia will know what they call think tank quiz. Just to be heard on the radio. My first time ever to talk on the radio was Saturday Special. You remember that program on ELJA? The first Saturday I went, I was not lucky to get there. So we stood on the line the time when we left. Then the second time I walked, I went way, I think at Johnson Street, the hell, I think. And I was living on the papa. I ran, I got on the line. When the guy
I used to get the ELW, you should go by what? Walk? You should go, it was on ELW or what? You should be on Saturday Special, you should be on ELW or ELBC.
Yeah, it used to be on ELW.
Yeah. Now, my favorite station used to also go. I'll tell you what I used to like with ELW. Go on.
And guess what? I stood on the line. When the guy reached me with a microphone, they would ask you, what's your name? Where you living? What's your name? And who you want to send request to? The excitement, the three people ahead of me, and I was trembling already. So when the guy reached me with I thought when I turned the microphone, I hear myself nothing, So he asked me, what's your name? I forgot my own name. Seriously. For 30 seconds. I said, my name, I was trembling. My name, because the excitement. And then I finally called my name. He said, we want to send a request. So I don't even know who to send it to. I said, I want to send it to my mom. Where am I living? My mom living to our house. That, man, when I came home, I said, all my men were fucking me. So, and then you see, so this is how it started, and I continue. And luckily for me, I went to Hayward Mission, where we were doing journalism, and we had some of the best journalists teaching us at that time, the late Joe Mulba and Max Whaley. And so then there was this program that used to be on radio, High School Report. So, you know, my peers were people like Letia Faculty, Cherry Okai, who else? Oh, the whole list goes on. So we had this High School Report. And then here we being, I mean, we were doing journalism already. So the other high school not doing journalism. So our news used to be well edited by Joe Moliva and Max Willie. So even when we used to do the recording every Friday, right? Then Saturday they play. So when we go, in fact, we were giving preference in the famous Aaron Colley. When you hear. So Aaron was already cadet at EFBC, but I was just entering. So I used to do the local the school news. And our news were edited. In fact, we're among the first 2-3 people to be recorded our evening, and then next morning we'll come and listen. So this is how my whole career started. And then, you know, yeah. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that when you are determined, you can make it, and it's all about our young people trying to make up their mind instead of going all beyond the politicians. I would say when you yourself, you don't even know what you want to be. Yeah, Jima.
Yeah, good. We'll find a time we'll be cataloging our very professional guy into the area of journalism. I'll tell you my little bit, but I'll just tell you what I like about you know, a few things. I'll take you. I want to ask you. Say you, I think one of those guys that were with ELBC as a cadet. I'll ask you some questions. Like I will take the last minute to go ask you a few questions about, give you some credit to some past journalists on how workers in Liberia. But first and foremost, my credit goes to Joe Mulba. My best program to like was Window on the Word. That was my favorite.
He was on here the year.
He was on here the year, so We Know the Word. That was one of the best. I don't think I could miss that program. One of those things that this guy could give 1 hour, 30-minute news about from the catalog from the Monday to Friday. That was like, it was a window on the word. It was this guy who, Joe had the voice. He had a radio voice, and you had to the radio. That was Joe Mulba. I mean, I don't know why he went to become minister. He should have just be behind the microphone. That was a good thing. A few other people I used to like also. I used to like the show they called the MB Production.
Yeah, Martin Brown.
Everybody, the whole city was locked down. Martin on the show. That was the MB Production. I also used to like this guy. On the late, a few other guys. There's a guy but he wasn't that popular. But he keep picking. He was a very good DJ. Richard A. Wilson. You find Richard Wilson from England? He died in a car accident.
Yeah, he died in a car accident.
Yeah, you are on your way from, I think, from Lamco. We used to work on the one radio station in Lamco. RAW, Richard A. Wilson. And got other names go on, man. People like the late, he's a friend of dad of my friend. You know, Alvin Fix.
But I heard about the talk Alvin Fisk. Alvin Fisk. No, let me tell you. But there are people who brought me into the media. I didn't know them. I mean, Alvin Fisk, I met him. In fact, at the time, ERBC was still on the bypass, right? On Capitol Hill. So I live on the bypass. My Oma house shop. We used to sell wholesale, and then we can sell beer and other things. Alvin Fisk, when I living far from us, you were living somewhere right around Richard Nixon School. The guy would consider news. Look, I mean, there were just people who knew this work. There were people.
He worked as I think he had a present something at the Liberian Mission abroad. I went to school with two of his sons, James Fix and Alvin Fix Jr. at St. Peter Lutheran School. We were there as class. I think Alvin and myself were classmates. Then Jim was next to him. But what they did, I think he was a press officer abroad, and I think one of his sons were born in Congo. Alvin works in the Liberian Foreign Mission as a press secretary. So before he came back to join the media, I mean, like there are a lot of things.
There were a lot of people who knew this job.
How about the Sarah Park show? Hey, man.
Alvin, he's actually Alvin, R-V-A-N.
Alvin, we used to call him Alvin.
He will be sitting in our shop, the major newscast. I mean, this is one person. This guy is just, he was gifted like Kwame Clement. This guy will be in our shop drinking 6 o'clock. The major newscast for EOBC was 7 o'clock. The guy stays in there with one bottle of beer in front of him drinking. He look at his watch. He used to walk one side. He used to, you're a little bit.
It's a limb, yeah.
Yeah. Alvin Fisk will leave like, I don't know how the guy would do this thing. Like 6:45. He will just cross past the police station. The next thing you hear Alvin Fisk on the radio. And the guy is reading and editing at the same time. Reading and editing. Can you imagine? There were people like that. When I used to hear them on the radio, I get.
Yeah, if you just watching right now, by the way, the communication. I mean, we're talking about some past journalists, like, but if you know anyone, if you have access to our,
Oh no, I can name a lot of them. Okay,
yeah, drop. I
Adventist.
mean, we got respect for all those Liberian journalists, whether new or
Yeah.
they did work for that country. So
I
if
would
you know
name
any,
them
if
for their
you can drop
programs.
the name in our message
I would name
box.
them for those programs that made them famous, like Saros Part, Saros Badio, and Patrick Manjo, Saros Pasho. That was early morning, and you know.
What? No, okay. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Don't. Let's take it categorically. Let's
Okay.
go to the news. Let's go to the news area. Who was your best newscaster? So we look at it because listen. I will just go this way. We have 3 radio stations. We got ELBC, government-owned radio station. We got ELWA, and we have ELCM came in later on.
Oh, no, ELCM came in last time, man.
Yeah, but we'll talk about them. They all made tribute to Liberia. They contributed to Liberian journalism, media institution. Let's look for the term newscasting. Who were your favorites?
Okay, on ELBC, it was Alvin Fisk, and okay, yeah. Let me bring in Charles Bayon, then what about Kwame Clement?
But I mean, what about before? What are people like before them? There were guys that before them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Generation. These are
okay. When you talk about news, okay, then let me go to.
Let's go to news now. We'll go to news, go to sports, we'll go to program, we'll go to DJ. So we're going to categorically look at this, taking this time to pay tribute to our Liberian media, because today we spoke with ALJA, a chairperson.
Folks, if you're not wasting your time, we actually giving history here. Some of us are not very old, but we saw these people. Okay, so from ELBC now, then we'll go to ELWA. But from ELBC in the newsroom, Alvin Fisk, then Kwame Clement, then King Newley. Kwame Clement, well, you know, they did well.
But before then, in your age time, now you can't talk about those before you.
Yeah, but in my age time, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
ELBC.
Yeah, I'm talking about Alvin Fisk. Then
you have ALJA Kroma used to read news though.
Yeah, he used to read news on the TV most time.
What about Livingstone?
Livingstone.
He was a military guy. He used to produce the military.
No, not Livingstone. That's Tommy Reeves.
Oh, Tommy Reeves. There was another Livingstone also.
Oh, okay. So when you talk about outside broadcast, then we talk about Tommy Reeves.
Moses Washington.
Moses K. Washington. That's a man with a special voice. The guy did some kind of advertisement. There was this movie called Space 1999. The guy did an advertisement. I memorized that advertisement until today.
Go on. Give it to me. I'll give it a shot. Give me advertisement.
The time is September in the year 1999. A demonstrating explosion has blasted the moon out of space, leaving 311 men and women trapped and isolated, but with a strong will to survive on the terrifying journey through space. Martin Lano, Barbara Moore, and the other person I can't remember. That guy.
That's a good one. How many years? And that's what, 20 years.
Yeah, that guy had that voice. And guess what? Moses K. Washington, sling guy.
Black.
Yeah. Then no. It was not Moses Washington. Moses Washington was police report man, but the guy that did an advertisement was this guy, J. Eustace Smith, J.U. Slim guy, but the guy voice was big.
Smith, yeah.
Eustace Smith.
Yeah, they kind of hold his voice.
Oh, that guy had that voice. I mean, when the guy talking, tell like the vibration. So then when it comes to DJ.
No. We take our credit. You didn't give up here. Let's go to ELWA. We'll talk about newscasters.
Okay. ELWA.
Listen. Wait.
My favorite next
listen.
to Joe
Listen.
Before Joe Molva, my first favorite is.
Now. Hello?
Yeah, talk.
You still need to give credit to most of our people at the ELBC. You know, he left them out. People like Jonathan Ruffle.
Jonathan Ruffle. Fanny Weaver.
What about the ladies? You didn't talk about the ladies.
Okay, Victoria Christopher, Victoria Christopher Cooper.
What about the sister of what's the lady name?
Loris Reeves, Lily Loris.
Now we'll go down to now. Let's go to these are newscasters. Only then we'll come to the present election commission chairperson. That was a DJ.
Yeah, Deveria Brown.
The brother was Martin Brown. Now we'll go down. Let's go to ELW. Who among them were your best reporter? I mean,
Jay really.
You forgot about this guy. Wow.
Joe Molva.
Charles Bayon.
No, Charles Bayon. I mentioned it earlier on. Charles Bayon. No, that the Kwame Clement group, then the Charles Bayon, Kwame Clement. But if you go to EFW those days, another man who had a voice that was really going back. Really going back. You remember
he was a specialist.
He did some advertisement for this program that used to come from Lanko Yegepa, man. They build a program I call it.
From the ABC.
Yeah, the ABC, the
African Bible College. Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about Reverend Charles Chin Chin. That guy had a voice. He really go back. So those are people, you know, when they talk, my man, when the guys will talk, my skin will creep. Yes.
Yeah, those days you have respect for they will make you to like journalism. I mean, I have a lot of respect for them. I mean, today with no discredit to today's journalists though, but we give credit to pay tribute to those past. We may not able to name them all.
Let's be frank. For 20-25%, I can discredit today's journalism. Let me tell you a fact. Because look, I live on a bypass, right? I was involved in journalism throughout all my life. I mean, everything about radio, I almost want to be inside. So I follow these things. Imagine there was this man, the late Timano Clark Williams.
Yeah.
That man made me almost not to become a journalist. Imagine. I remember we have gone to EFBC. So the guy look at somebody, he asked, he looked, the man, he brought glasses and looked where he said, my young man, what did you say you want to be? You want to be a journalist? Come here. I said, no. The player, I said, that kind of forbid that. Imagine the man asking somebody, no, those are people. Those people, when you see them those days, I said, look, to become a journalist was a glamour. Look, when I entered journalism, my official employment as a journalist started in 1998. 1988, 2 years before the war. Imagine, I had this fashion. After high school, I did high school report, I graduated, I couldn't find my way through EFBC, try, I couldn't make it. So I auditioned, and then LRCN established. So they were training people. So I remember the first guy from LRCN I went to was one guy called Saki. We were playing basketball. I asked the guy, I said, oh, my man, we definitely employ all the people they wanted. So I remember 1987, December, I auditioned in Lapasi. So we are having our school closing program. And this guy from LRCN rather, they had a headquarters in Monrovia, but we had a station in Bangla, Benjamin, and Sweden. So this guy, I know who invited him. I just saw the guy came to the school to our program. So when he came, he was trying to mount his microphone. So I went and helped him. I plugged the microphone. I put on the mic. I say, testing 1, 2, 3. So he saw me. Then he asked me, how do you know about these things? You teacher? I said, no, I've been trying to be a journalist forever. So he said, oh, really? He said, but I'm from, they call the guy Romeo too. He said, soft-spoken global guy. He said, I'm from LRC. I said, yeah, I see your logo. So I told him, I said, but I'm interested. He said, well, anytime we'll be doing some more training, but anytime we need people, I'll let you know. I said, okay. That was way December 1987. So school closed, we opened school again, school started then April. I remember because we were practicing for April, right? Because we had Easter program, the students, every day we used to go, but we can't stay in school. So we left around 12 o'clock that day. I came home, I was lying down in my room. I just heard one of my students coming. Then he was asking my people outside, I was lying down inside. He said, brother, go ahead, what making to see brother go? So my sister came. He said, oh, this is my king to see you. I said, well, I go ask the person. Then the lady went, she said, I want many. So I came outside. When I came outside, right away, I saw the LRCN car parking at Cherokee Chief. We were parking. So I walked to the guy. I forgot the guy name because I met a guy one time. I walked to him. I said, hello, sir. So we started talking. He said, you can't remember me. And because the way I was looking, I said, no, not well. He said, but I didn't want to come to the school. I said, oh, yeah. Then he said, but we need somebody. We got one position open as a starting position called production assistant. So, and this guy, now my other classmate too is a agreeable guy. two of them talk also. So he informed the Grable guy and he informed me, but separately we didn't know. So the guy said, "Well, you can come on Monday." So that Monday, when I entered ELBC compound, I went to the LRCM building. Then when I met my messenger, my colleague, my classmate, I mean my colleague teacher. So he said, "Oh, but man, what you can do?" I said, "Man, I came for interview." He said, "Oh, but man, I Cynthia came for two." But you know, God is there. My high school knowledge about journalism, where I was doing high school report, I know how to write news. I know the 5 elements of news. And so when the people came, they called us inside. The late James Wallow, CEO, the original CEO, you were one of those people on the panel. Then they call us in. Then they interview us. Then they ask us, "Do you have any idea about news, about journalism?" So I said, "Well, I've been practicing journalism. In fact, I did journalism in school." So they told us, "Okay, let's go. We'll go in the studio, we'll do your voice test." We entered a very cool studio. They put me behind the microphone. Then they gave me just one paragraph to read. I read it. Then they did the same thing for the guy. Then they told us to go home. But before we went home, they told us to go and write a news story. We can decide what topic to write on. So I went. Jamal, imagine if I had never studied my 5 W's and H. I studied it well. I made sure that every paragraph I wrote, they were included. So
yeah, that's a quite interesting story. I mean, to get into it was those like there was a lady that was head of the ELBC at the time. She was what's the name again?
No,
she was director of ELBC, ELBC. This was a lady. Oh, got her name. She was, if you work with ELBC, she wanted to do director for a very long time. During summer do leadership.
No, but during summer do leadership,
she was ELBC director, director of ELBC for a long time. And this time,
I know who you're talking about, but during that time was Krumah.
No, Krumah was there. Krumah like wanted to become minister at some point. Then there was a lady, before then there was a lady that served in there. Krumah brought in action news and stuff like that. We know that. He brought different things. I'm just going to look at some people that pay. We're just paying tribute to some of our power journalists.
Okay. Let me
No, you took me away a little bit. 1 second.
Yeah, but let me pay tribute to one person before I forget.
Okay. Go on.
Okay. Emmanuel Kepa. You were always on the afternoon show.
Well, what year was that? What time was that?
Oh no, you were there throughout. I met him there. 85, 86, 87. But you see, he was DJ, so they were not too popular.
That's what I'm saying. Not doing this. When you keep diverting me, I want to take it from newscasters to production people to sport people. Then we keep taking me different one. I want you to give me I was not at ELBC, right? And I want you to tell me, because I'm tapping all your knowledge now from the open. Whoever you can remember.
We got 23 minutes. We got 23 more minutes to go, guys. So bear with us.
Don't worry. We're paying tribute to our journalists. We'll go to also the print media. Those who pay tribute to some people in the print media. But what we're going to go. We're not going to talk about a lot. We have a few of them that we can remember.
Okay.
Let's go first. Now we finish with the new. At least we name some newscasters, right? Then let's go to the production people. Okay, you need from ELBC. Government-owned newspaper. Steve Makondo.
Okay, when we talk about production, I think the police report was one of the programs produced on ELBC. And
what about Steve Makondo?
Yeah, Steve was this. You were doing production as well, and his major thing was OB. And
yeah, but he was good. He was one of the good guys.
No, he was very good. He was the one who could describe the scene, man. If you're sitting at home, you are there.
Very descriptive, yeah.
Yeah, he would really describe. There are people, and then when it comes to production, it's also commentating sports.
Yeah.
And that's when I bring in Mother Rose's little boy, the late Herbert Grisby.
Herbert, yeah, okay.
He said, "Mother, oh mine, Mother Rose."
That's a sport. Then let's go to sport broadcaster.
Yeah. Joe Manuel also was doing commentary as well.
Yeah, Joe was good, but I think that my best was Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick
Herbert I didn't have a great begin something
I mean, you were a little bit, over the bump sometime. You were a little bit emotional. Oh my goodness, my 5-year-old daughter could have scored that goal. That was those kind of things. I mean, we excite fans and stuff like that. That was the issue with him. Anyway, let's go down. Don't forget about Patrick, good friend, Saros. Saros was also a good.
Saros
he was a newscaster at the same time also. Also he did also a lot of commenting.
Yeah. He was also doing commentary, and then at the same time he and Lele Patrick were doing this morning show, the Saros part funny show,
Okay, what about let's come to Martin Brown and his sister.
Martin Brown was one of the best DJs we had, and then the other DJ that I used to like, but he was in a particular type of music was Duba Karanda with roots and rhythm.
Yeah, but I think the person, Dubaka, he should also do reggae, I thought. You say, does he do the reggae thing? Reggae is a message? No, a different person.
No, I think it was another guy. And there was this guy, Bill, something who used to do some country and western. What the guy?
At least you tried. No, okay. What about let's go back to let's go to the other media now. We'll go to ERBC. What about ERCM?
ERCM, they came during the war time. I mean, or during
before the war. They were there before the war.
Yeah, that was it during the war time, and like this, they were more into the gospel thing, and Imaya Abaro, our colleague. Yeah, he was on the news side.
He was a good guy. Yeah, he also gave name to that radio station, ELCM, Emmanuel Abalo. Yeah. You know what the part I used to like about Emmanuel's was his point time. He used to read that poetry. It was good. Yeah. I mean, the other thing, we got a lot. We couldn't name everybody right now. If you didn't hear Tuba you like, we are sorry. We can't remember everybody. That song you tribute to our.
I'll talk about when it comes to TV reading to Max Willie.
Oh, Max Willie.
Yeah, my former boss and my friend.
Tony
There was this connection between me and Max Willie that nobody understood. Max and I graduated from the same school, Haywood Mission, along with Aaron, but they graduated before us. And then he became our teacher. He graduated from Haywood, then he became our teacher in Haywood. Then when we left, we started working together. All along in Habel, and people didn't understand what was between me and Max. They would just talk, and there was nothing that Max would do without me. Anywhere Max would be, I'm there with him. So they didn't know that relationship. So because we came from the same school, we're in the same church, Memorial Open Bible Church, we just follow throughout. And Aaron Colley became one of the best newscasters also. So let's not forget that.
There was a lady that used to work a lot with Kwame Clement. What's the one name again? The bright lady like this. I think what's the name? They should be reading news also. You should do a lot of OB. You do a lot of OB.
Who was this? Okay, this lady now. Okay, there was one other girl who came from America.
That's something I know about.
Now she's at the University of Liberia now. That's the only girl who used to speed. So they would refuse to give her the ERPC car. She came from America with that speeding business. Then we also had
you should have where they cover red. Where they cover red.
Yeah. She cover red.
Was she head of ERBC?
Yeah. She was also one of the newscasters, Victoria Raffle.
Yes, the joint Raffle daughter, Victoria Raffle.
Yeah.
There are a lot of names. I mean, we can't remember everybody, but I think this is a way we want to pay tribute to most of our partners.
Most of the people who call in, most of them are dead, though.
We didn't add in most of them. I follow them. Let's go to the print media. Just name few.
Kenneth Best.
Name me three best news by the time. Our top three.
The top three newspaper, you mean?
At the time you are ELBC.
Yeah, okay. The Daily Observer, the Inquirer.
Inquirer came late, man. Come on.
Yeah, I think Inquirer came late, but Daily Observer, I quite remember Daily Observer.
The Mirror.
I was not too much into newspaper business, my man. Newspaper, nobody knows.
Mr. Dapo newspaper. You know
Dapo. For Dapo newspaper, it was
the Mirror. Was he the Mirror?
The Mirror. I
Yeah, it was the
no,
Mirror.
all those people were there. They were there.
And we also had a newspaper, the late church Chipokima newspaper called Footprint.
Footprint.
No, the Standard. It was
Yeah.
Footprint came from this guy, what's guy? Something Momolu Salif.
Momolu Salif.
Yeah, Salif came out with the Footprint newspapers.
Okay, and then I don't know what then Juba, I know Dubai, and Liga. Oh,
Which one is that?
The guy he became press secretary for Taylor in MPF era. Then later on he left. I think he said he does it. What if I got him? That's what I meant to.
Gasso is a very good commentator too. We forgot about Gasso.
Oh,
Gasso
yes.
is very good
commentator. That's what I meant to.
Anyway, we forgot we didn't pay justice to the ladies. We didn't need most of our ladies. There was a lady got married to Judy Gray before. Something Justina Gray?
Yeah, Justina Gray.
Yeah.
Justina Gray. I didn't know where is she.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is a special way to say a big thank you to most of our journalists, print media, whatever. They did well. They both independent, private, government run. And coming to a most recent one of before the war, where Kwame Clement, his group got Charles Bayon, Aaron Colley. And there's a guy called Paul Gwyn. I used to like him.
You know, Paul Gwyn, he can do that like that. Paul Gwyn, when I do extra ball, he was just that Paul Gwyn.
I used to like it when this guy Alaji brought Action News in. He said go beyond action. He used to be Paul Gwyn Action News.
I said, man, he came for one time. Hopefully, everybody read out of class to see Paul Gwyn.
The name was just unique. That was making special. And the way you should pronounce it.
We also have one. He said, guy. He said looking good or whatever. Charles Konoa.
Charles Konoa went to Nigeria to study. He had a scholarship to go to study in Nigeria. He came lately also.
Yeah.
Charles Konoa. And this guy I worked with him at the Student Recorder newspaper, and I worked with him when this was set up by Francis Pay, who is now, I think, representative for Rivers.
Senator.
No, okay, he used to be a representative, moved to become senator. It was Francis Pay. We started a Student Recorder newspaper under the late Water Penal. You know the Water Penal mother had a school called J.J. Ross. J.J. Ross, right opposite the National Commission. Yeah, J.J. Ross.
Right opposite
National Commission. Yeah.
That J.J. Ross. That's J.J. Ross, man. What is school name?
J.J. Ross, not J.J. Roberts. J.J. Ross.
Oh, yeah, J.J. Ross. Okay.
ROSS. It was owned by Water Penal mother, the coach Water Penal mother.
After that SD Latte.
No, under the basement, there was a newspaper called Sporting Life. The Ghanaian Liberian guy brought in the first sporting newspaper called Sporting Life. So in that room, the first sport newspaper used to be Sporting Life. You had 3-4 pages. And this place, Francis Pay set up a newspaper there. He used to work with there's a guy now, I think he's late now. I think he used to work on a newspaper. I met Franz Sankawola. The guy worked now, Franz Sankawola.
Yeah, Franz Sankawola.
Yeah, we were with him in that place. He was
another good guy too. Another good choir guy too.
Yeah, he's very, very good. He used to be a very good guy. So a couple of new guys that did well. And
but what about this guy?
Carson Kopie.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's late now. Those are I work with him too. We work together on that newspaper.
Yeah, Carson and myself, we did high school report together. You were attending Kennedy High School.
Yeah. There were a lot of good guys. Some people didn't make it anyway. But it was a good thing to remember. I mean, to take you back to the old journalists that did well. They both print and media and print and electronic.
Okay, we forgot one major person in the print of Philip Wissel.
Is that the Gina you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that the Gina you're talking about? The Gina.
Yeah, the Gina.
The Gina was a good man.
Another person again, John N. Elliott. J.N. Elliott.
Wow. Then you're talking about this guy. When you carry me back to some names now, there was a more recent newspaper. And I went. The Quora came out. The analysts came.
Yeah.
And other newspapers popping up on newspapers, publications. Well, major newspaper was the major content newspaper was Daily Observer.
Oh yeah. Well, when it comes from Daily Observer, that was the Bible.
That was it. And then after Daily Observer, we got the Mirror. That was this guy, Rufus. What's that? What's the guy? Rufus Dapple. That was the guy name. He had a Mirror newspaper, very good writer. Then you have other newspaper coming out, the Standard, the Eye, the Nose. We got all kind of newspaper in Liberia at the time. And this guy used to write for the New Age. That was the late Tom Kamara.
Yeah.
Who set up the New Democrat. He also
New Democrat.
a writer. He was a writer for the.
And in the New Democrat, where this guy Ase Pantu from ELJA, he wrote some story about church people. Then he put money on church people here running away. No, tractor equipment running away. So church people, the case was in a court. Then Ase Pantu went there. Church people had a case. I must have had a case at Temple Jersey that time. So church people went there and then Ase Pantu came. Oh, sir, can I talk to you? Church people turn around and say, you Ase Pantu, you're the one who wrote the story that I carrying put caterpillar to Aroko to go sell. That me coming interview today. And church people was just chicken guy. And
there was a guy that also reported, John Vambo. I think he died in Holland. You know, John Vambo used to report.
Yeah, John Vambo, yeah.
Yeah, he died in Holland, I think. He came.
Yeah, somebody, Alexander Boniface reminded me about Dr. Hour. That column, that small column in the dinner, so Dr. Hour.
Yeah, it was a popular parables used to be that hour, it used to be.
Yeah, you can get some parables, some ready.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Special thing the Fourth Estate did well. I think the question is, how do you bring back this kind of integrity?
See, that's our viewers maybe will bore you down, but with this long story. But what we're trying to say is the integrity. Like I said, it wasn't easy those days. When I started working, they will send me LLC, and they will send me out. I'll go call the story. I interview everything I can. They will take all my voice for complete 3 months. What happening? They will take all my voice. They will edit it. In fact, I myself edit. I'll edit it. Then I pass it to my boss, Sonny Bugujo, who was my immediate producer. Yeah, SBG.
You just call somewhere near right now.
Yeah, SBG on the Network Liberia. Then later on, I started doing the Network Liberia. Without some look,
let me tell you something though. Though did a lot of things for media in Liberia because he extended to RCM, the radio. This is time I got people like the rural radio networks. Mm-hmm. You got people who came up. There was a guy who worked from Bonn where I met this guy. He started with. Now as a red. No, it was not. Yeah, Peter Toby started from there. As a red, they came from.
Yeah, no, as a red and came during the war time.
Yeah, but he started.
It was Fred Cooper in Bangana.
He was there. Fred Cooper. This guy, you name it. These guys and this boy. Azure started before. What's his name again? The late Johnson. What the boy? First Johnson.
Sigmund Johnson.
Sigmund Johnson.
I'm telling you. When I worked with LRC.
I'm not saying that he started. We were in high school together. I'm not saying he started. He was the guy who started. It was the old promising journalists coming up. Sigmund Johnson, Azure. They were Fred Cooper and other. In fact, the first person I remember Azure was invited to the studio. Were Fred Toby. We invited him to his show in Bangor at the time. Radio Bonn. So he went in there, and we used to be together. We all did journalists in high school, and we were very good friends. Sigmund Johnson, dad was the editor of the Bonn Crier. So the old man was a professional journalist. He ran that newspaper, the Bonn Crier. He was a Sigmund Johnson senior. He was editor of the Bonn Crier. So he published that newspaper 2 hours until he was late. So we pay tribute to most of our passing journalists. those in the media. We may not remember all of them, but we say a big hat off to you. You did well for us, both media, print. Thank you very much. The one we call, we did not call. We say a big thank you.
Yeah, there are so many. We can't call all. We can't call.
We can't tell them all because
let's say Mioneapolis, with the largest voice.
Say Mioneapolis.
Yeah.
What was the name? There's Golekaju. Who was something Golekaju?
Gabriel Golekaju.
Gabriel Golekaju. I love that name. It's a Gabriel Golekaju.
That police report made there.
Yeah, Gabriel Golekaju. Those are names I can ring bells.
Yeah, another person, but he didn't stay in the media though. Gabriel Williams, but he became someone. I think minister. Someone that deputy minister.
There were some lucky guys there. Probably we may not remember all these people. They were really brilliant journalists. Both print and electronic, they were really doing good. But Kwame just topped the show. He was just there where he news action. That action news was a big thing in Liberia.
Oh yes.
ERTV, EBC Action News. People were like, my dad made so recipes. You were like, in the evening, we'll go in the living room. I come on the radio. No, everybody leave the living room.
Let me be alone.
Yeah, I used to love coming. He said, my boy is on. He said, everybody locked, you're locked. Because everybody leaves. You will sit there until coming finish without leaving. You just used to enjoy it. Not following the news, but like how this guy managed to read the news without looking. And the way he says it, it was like just flow, man. Those guys was good. Now, well, other people could be the one themselves. Like we got a lot of respect for them. They were doing good. They're good. I mean, they when extended the communication to the rural area where every county had their own radio station. That was also a good thing, though. They did a great thing on that.
And yeah, of course, that was when we were working at LLCN, the original plan was to have those 3 radio stations, Banga, Funchama, and Swedru, and then they will also build additional ones, but then they walk in, and so. That's it. And that project, it cannot be revived now because I don't know what all the terms and conditions and all of the people.
And the ELBC high school report was also good. There were people, they saw a guy like
that it prepared a lot of people.
What is born in our used to be Moriba Central High. He used to be one of the best high school reporter. What's his name again? He called himself ALJA or something. I want to forget something. He used to be at Moriba Central High. He used to very good. He was student leader. He
came after my time because I did high school report from 1980, 82, 81, 82.
Aljero,
but then sorry, the man
yeah, but he came from high school report. He was a product from the high school.
A lot of the guys came from high school report.
Aljero Michele. He was also good. He was good also. There are a couple of people that really, really did well. Many people tried to get there, but they didn't get up to the ladder. But those who made it.
The thing is, the opportunity was not there. It was not like now. How many radio stations in High Liberia? ELBC.
Many.
What did you mean?
The thing is, I know we don't have much time. 4 more minutes. But why? The question I'll bring to you now, Elaine, for is why is it that the government is not looking up to their own media institution, like helping putting funds for ELBC to grow, to make it bigger and competitive?
No, the thing is, again, you have to know your priorities. If you know your priorities, then you will prioritize. Within a priority, you have you also have a sub-priority list. Something we call scale of preference.
You mean media is not a priority of the government?
But then may that be because I don't see a government that will want to run without prioritizing their own mouthpiece.
Let me stop interrupting you. What I'm trying to say is this. I don't expect the government to run their own media institution. Then when it becomes like it becomes their own mouthpiece. When it comes to election now, they'll be running only government propaganda. But we expect, like what they're doing in the UK, BBC is being paid by every household. So it becomes, on BBC, national BBC, I don't know about BBC World, they got almost 10 different BBC. BBC's word service is for the outside world. That's if you're outside the UK, you follow BBC World. But other BBC, there's no adverts on our BBC. You know why? Because every household pay at least $5 every household in the UK towards our BBC sustainability. So that means that everything on our BBC, you don't need anything. People work for the people. So every political party have the right, everybody has the right to go on that station to talk. And that station stay independent. But ELBC should got something. If you're paying, government should at least get, every worker should pay at least $1. Forget about government sponsorship. If you're on government payroll, everybody should pay at least, because we don't have a source of income, we don't have a job. Everybody should at least 50 cents or $1 to support our own national media institution. Look at why ELBC, even the government, look at Georgia. CDC had their own radio station. They're not looking out to ELBC or BBC to grow. They're struggling with resources and equipment problem. Staff are not well trained. They are very good. If you follow our radio station, our online radio, the Bottom Line online radio, every 8 o'clock, we got relay of ELBC news every 8 o'clock from Monday to Friday on online radio, on our online, the Bottom Line, because it's a major news coming from Liberia. And those guys report, if you listen to the way they report, so professional. I mean, I know there are some, partisan tone in there where they'll be supporting the government, but they are professional compared to other private institutions. So government should not be funding them, but it should find a way how ELBC can be independent, or LBS can be independent.
Yeah, not direct funding, but again, the this is it. Now, in the UK, BBC is that owned by the government?
No.
Okay, but
It's
in
owned by the
Liberia,
people.
yeah, in Liberia, where you have ELBC being almost like government owned, and I don't know. If you go to ELBC now, you ask anybody to give that kind of opinion about how the government is running, they will say, "Oh, the government is good because why they work with ELBC and they don't want to be fired." See,
No, that's a
yeah, so
deliberate. You know,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. The concept is that it is owned by government, and so and this is where we have one of the major problems in Liberia is when government tends to own certain key state entities, it becomes a problem because if government falls short to support it, it cannot survive. You know, it cannot survive. Then you got these water and sewer, LEC, and all these people under government. No, privatize the thing.
But
Give it
EFBC
out.
should be run by the citizen, like you said. I mean, that's the thing where everybody should be looking up to for the major news. Now
Yes.
we're talking about responsible reporting. You can't look up to the private institution like when they have a shortfall of adverts, so resources are coming for them to support their staff. What do they end up to? Anybody can get their money to promote them.
Yeah.
So when EFBC is there being sponsored by by the people, not the government. And it's be independent. They have their own independent group, independent team, everything, an agency, autonomous agency. You will see how we'll get concrete and accurate news, and you will be very effective and will be accountable to the people of Liberia. But once it's on the government, has to employ the director, the staff, everything. So you have to be it's sad. They say how do you say? They say, who pays the papa dictate the tunes, right?
That's a tune. Yeah, they will say play the other song that I want to like. Melo, listen, we've exhausted everything we had to say, and it was good thing, Chima. I think tonight was the night of the press at the Fourth Estate because we had a journalist here, and then we talked about ALJA, and then you took us into like a memory lane where we remember most of our fallen heroes and those that are alive still, and maybe.
So what do you think to do? You want to open up all Liberian journalists in Europe if you're watching us? So if you have an idea, put it through. Let's see if it's it's a need to set up the all Liberian journalists in Europe. I mean, there are other ways you can support the media in Liberia. Also, we can support the professionals.
Yeah. I mean, there is nothing impossible. The problem with Liberians and Europe is that besides the war, it's just because of the war that a lot of Liberians enter Europe. But everybody Liberian, when you start school from start to your life, they will ask you where you want to go. I want to go to America. So we found ourselves here because of the war, and so we are many here. We got different people here from Liberia. So we got carpenters, doctors, and all kinds of things. So we got some journalists here. So maybe we can start to scout, to scout out all the journalists that we know that live here. Even if we are like 4, 5, 10 people, we can establish something and then we can move on. But that's something that we got to be thinking about. Is our own work now to begin to. Oh yeah. Emmanuel Boniface also remind me of somebody, Sarah Hayes Cooper.
Oh, the lady with the golden voice.
Yeah, Sarah Hayes
That's
Cooper.
the lady with. He said, "I used to like what she was." Sarah Hayes Cooper, the girl with the golden voice. Sarah Hayes Cooper.
Last in the time we started working together at the radio at Kiss FM in Liberia.
The girl with the golden voice.
Yeah, Sarah Hayes Cooper, small woman. Yeah.
Oh, she was tight, man. She was tight. But her brother used to be a musician also, John Hayes.
Okay. So
John Hayes used to be a singer. He used to be singing reggae. I saw him a lot of time doing the talent show. John Hayes, the brother was Sarah Hayes Cooper. That's correct. Yeah. He was a very, very good guy. She was a good DJ. The girl with the golden voice, Sarah Hayes Cooper. That's correct.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Now, thanks, guys, and that's a good way to let you tonight. And I think we had a very pleasant time discussing our media, how they work in Liberia, and how can we push it. How do we promote ethics, integrity, and responsible reporting journalism in Liberia? If you're joining us now, we will tell you we want a by way of information. We always check us online. We have the Bottom Line Liberia online 24/7. You can download on your iPhone, also on your Android phone. Always go there, copy. We have this program relay on that. We do also relay a lot of major programs for Liberia on our online radio because sometimes we don't have the time to have the platform live. We do on online radio. Major events going on around on Liberia right now. So, Linford, that's for me for tonight.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all of our people that view us on Muna Clipper and Alexander, and the rest of the people whose names we did not see will be here on today.
Today is Tuesday, the 5th of September.
Yeah, 35 more days to go to elections. So we'll be here on Friday, and probably we'll have a guest again. We'll be checking. And the thing is, all the politicians are all busy right now. You call it one, mommy, on a few. You call it one, on a few. So, but whoever can lay hand on will bring them, and we'll make the discussion interesting. And so be with us on Friday as we take you through another time of discussion. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll go through our football list. We'll see who was the best footballer. But we gotta get one footballer here though. But it's good. And Chima, we hope Arsenal will beat Manchester. So we'll be looking up to that game.
If you look at history, one thing I don't want to make comment because all the time they play on the Old Trafford field, Arsenal, Manchester will losing. So I don't want to make any big mouth right now. If it's a different team, I'll say something. But let's see how it ends up. They say last whistle will tell.
Yeah. When is the game, sir?
No, I don't want to say anything about that now because I'm not if you are listening about Arsenal and Manchester.
I know that's Saturday. I know.
Let me tell you, just give me a quick. I think the game right here. Because sometimes with United and Arsenal game, I don't really take track of it because I'm always disappointed. But I'll give you right now. Anyway, do you still watch your game? Do you still follow football in the UK? Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's your favorite team? Arsenal stay. I should be supporting Munster anyway.
My next thing is Southampton because I live in Southampton. I'm a Southampton. Even though they beat up or. My man, the time I know that when they committed in Southampton, 2008, 2009, 2010 to 2012. Imagine, my man, Southampton was fisi. They will go so now. I said, simple thing like Bonimo from the south, Bonimo, Bomo, they will kind of beat up, but still, the white people will go sit down on their feet. The next thing they will go sit down there, at 3 o'clock, they will be there, they will beat them, they come in and cry. The next thing they go, I said, but we're not applaud me, I can't go there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't figure out the date of the game. But I think what I have right now is
it's going to be over the weekend.
Yeah, it'll be over the weekend.
Yeah, that's a big game.
1 second. Let me just give me a second. I'm gonna be precise what time it will be. Okay, you say you're from Wolverhampton? That where you from? United against?
No, Southampton.
Yeah.
I'm not from Wolverhampton. From Southampton.
I'm looking. Yeah. Anyway, don't worry about the. I don't see it right here now.
No, but I can find it. Our time is already. Our viewers, you like it, you can go. We are talking now.
Anyway, thank you very much, and Alexander Boniface. Oh yeah, Alexander Boniface Emmanuel Hayes.
No,
that's his name.
He talked about Hayes, Sarah Hayes Cooper.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Emmanuel. Okay, I thought you were Hayes. Anyway, yeah. What I know of right now, we have a couple of games. So we're not talking about football here. So I want to wish you well, guys. Thank you for joining wherever you were. You are listening to online, both online, YouTube, Facebook, or also. Tonight, our guest was Joe Mason, the president of the Association of Liberian Journalists in Americas. He's in it by the 14th to 17th of this month, September.
14th
to the 17th of the weekend, they'll be having their convention, or ALJA, they call it ALJA in short. Association of Liberian Journalists in America will be having a convention. That's the Liberian Journalists abroad based in America. So he was our guest tonight, Joe Mason, and he talked about the challenges they've had and the success they've made, and what are the future look like for the journalists, Liberian journalists abroad and also in Liberia. And we closing now, we took another half an hour, 45 minutes to talk about paying tribute to our past journalists, people both in the media, both media, print and electronic media. If we did forget to call names, please, if you listen to us, thank you very much for following us. And our man in Norway, take it from there. I'll leave it with you, brother. Have a pleasant evening.
Okay, so we'll be taking you home with this. I don't know. I'm not going to play any music tonight, but I'll just play our jingle to take us home.